The fluorescent lights at John F. Kennedy Airport flickered above me as I raced through the terminal, my phone trapped between my ear and my shoulder, my stubborn suitcase dragging behind me. One wheel caught every crack in the floor, jerking my arm with every step. "Mom, I'm boarding in 20 minutes," I shouted, swerving around a family with 3 screaming kids. "Yes, I have my passport." "Yes, I'll be careful in Los Angeles." "No, I won't talk to strangers." My mother's anxious voice kept listing every danger that could possibly be waiting for me on my first major assignment away from New York. At 25, I had never really left the city. There had never been enough money, enough time, or enough courage for any adventure beyond the 5 boroughs. This assignment in Los Angeles felt like winning the lottery. A 2-week contract with a luxury travel magazine. They were paying me more than I usually earned in half a year of freelance work. "I have to go. Love you." I hung up before my mother could start another lecture about safety. Gate 47 was already ahead of me. Boarding was nearly over. As usual, I had pushed everything to the last second. Punctuality had never been my strongest quality. My ex had reminded me of that constantly, until 3 months ago, when I finally ended that toxic relationship for good. I got in line, digging for my boarding pass, while trying not to roll my suitcase over the heels of the woman in front of me. She threw me an irritated look. Designer luggage. Expensive perfume. The kind of quiet superiority that said she belonged in first class, not back in economy with ordinary mortals like me. "Boarding pass and ID," the gate agent said in a mechanical voice. I handed them over. "Enjoy your flight, Miss Carter." Inside the plane, I squeezed down the aisle toward my seat in the back and fought to shove my carry-on into the overhead bin. The suitcase refused to fit from any angle. "Let me help you," a flight attendant said, appearing beside me with a professional smile. She rearranged the neighboring bags, and suddenly there was room. I dropped into my window seat with relief. The middle seat was still empty, and I silently begged the universe to keep it that way. 7 hours in the air already sounded like an eternity. My camera bag sat at my feet. The most valuable thing I owned. Equipment I had saved for over 3 years to buy. The plane rolled onto the runway. The engines roared. I gripped the armrest as the wheels lifted from the ground. New York sank beneath me, a glittering sprawl of lights against black velvet. I was really flying to Los Angeles. I was chasing the dream I had carried since I was 10, since the day my father gave me my first camera. 2 years later, he was gone. A sudden heart attack. After that, Mom and I barely stayed afloat, but I kept the camera. I kept shooting. I kept believing that one day I would earn a living doing the one thing I loved. That day had finally come. 7 hours later, I woke to the captain announcing our descent into Los Angeles. My neck was stiff from sleeping in a twisted position. My mouth tasted like I had spent the night chewing cardboard. So this was the glamorous travel life I had always dreamed about. The landing was smooth. Then came endless corridors, baggage claim, and the slow, exhausted carousel of suitcases circling like tired horses at a carnival. I spotted mine immediately. Bright red. I had bought it specifically so I would never confuse it with anyone else's. I grabbed it and checked the tag. Olivia Carter. Address, Queens. Perfect. Nobody waited for me in arrivals with a sign. The magazine had arranged a private transfer to my hotel. I only had to find the pickup point. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Black Mercedes. Parking level 2. Space 47. The transfer, I thought. I followed the signs toward the garage. It was dim and cold. February air slid through the concrete structure, sharp enough to wake me fully. Level 2 was nearly empty. Space 47. A sleek black Mercedes waited there, its windows dark. As I approached, the trunk opened by itself. I loaded my suitcase and reached for the back door. It opened before I touched it. A man in a dark suit gestured for me to get in. "Miss Carter," he said in English, his accent thick and unfamiliar. "Yes. That's me." I slid into the warm leather seat and accepted the bottle of water he offered me. The car pulled away. Outside the window, Los Angeles was waking under a gray morning sky. Freeways. Glass towers. Palm trees. Hills rising in the distance like something out of a movie. Even through exhaustion, the city looked more beautiful than any photograph I had ever seen. Then my phone rang. Unknown number again. "Hello. Where is it?" The voice was male. Quiet. Dangerous. His English carried a faint Italian edge that sent cold straight down my spine. "Excuse me. Who is this? Do not play games with me. Where is the package? I think you have the wrong number." The red suitcase. Flight from JFK to Los Angeles. You took something that belongs to me. Every word was precise. Controlled. Beneath the cold politeness, rage waited like a loaded gun. "I don't know what you're talking about. I only have my luggage." "Open it. Now?" "I'm in a car. I can't." "Open it, or my driver will stop the car and do it himself." My hands began to shake. I looked at the driver. He was watching me through the rearview mirror, his face hidden behind dark sunglasses. "You're not from the magazine," I whispered. "The magazine sent another car," the voice said, almost amused. "You got into the wrong one. And you took the wrong suitcase. Now open it and tell me where my property is." Fear crashed over me. How could this have happened? The message. The parking level. The space number. Everything had matched. Everything had looked right. "I need to call the police," I said, reaching for the door handle. "The doors are locked, Miss Carter. And calling the police would be unwise. You are carrying stolen property. That makes you an accomplice. Open the suitcase." With trembling hands, I asked the driver to stop. He pulled over on a quiet side street lined with closed storefronts. Then he got out, retrieved the red suitcase from the trunk, and placed it beside me on the seat. I stared at it. Bright red. My luggage tag. But now, looking closer, I noticed what I had missed before. A scratch I didn't recognize. A slightly deeper shade of red. A handle shaped differently from mine. "Oh my God," I breathed. "This isn't my suitcase." "No," the voice said. "Now open it." My fingers barely worked as I spun the lock. I entered my birth date out of instinct. The lock clicked. But it was not my code. It was not my suitcase. I slowly unzipped it. My mind screamed possibilities. Drugs. Weapons. Cash. Something awful. Something that explained the threats and the black car. Inside, among neatly folded black clothing, were 3 leather journals and a small wooden box. Nothing obviously illegal. But the man on the phone wanted them desperately. "Describe what you see," he ordered. "Journals. A box. Clothes. Photograph the journals and send the images to this number." I obeyed. My hands shook so badly that the first pictures blurred. Finally, I managed clear shots of the leather covers, each stamped with gold lettering in what looked like Italian. Good. Now the box. It's locked. I know. Just photograph it. The wooden box was beautiful. Dark polished wood, inlaid with mother of pearl, about the size of a jewelry case, with a delicate brass lock. I photographed it from every side and sent the images. Silence followed. Only his breathing, controlled and steady. Mine came in short, broken pulls. "Where is your suitcase?" he asked at last. "I don't know. Someone must have taken it by mistake." We switched at baggage claim. What was inside? Clothes. Toiletries. Camera equipment. My backup camera. Lenses. Accessories. Thousands of dollars of equipment I cannot afford to lose. My voice cracked. "Please. I need that gear for work. You should have been more careful." No sympathy. None. "Do you understand your situation, Miss Carter? You are in possession of something very valuable. It belongs to very dangerous people. They will do anything to get it back. I'll return it. I don't want your problems. I just want my suitcase and my job. It is not that simple. The moment those items ended up with you, you became a target. My competitors will believe you work for me. They will come for you." What? No. This was a mistake. Mistakes have consequences. A pause. "Stay in the car. My driver will take you somewhere safe while we sort this out." "Somewhere safe? You kidnapped me. I prevented you from being kidnapped by people far less reasonable than I am." His tone suggested I should have been grateful. "I will find your suitcase and verify who you really are. Until then, you will be my guest." Another pause. "Unless you would rather take your chances alone with the Russians, who are also looking for those journals." Russians. Dangerous people. Competitors. The words spun through my head, each one worse than the last. This could not be happening. I was a photographer from Queens. Not someone dragged into international criminal warfare. "I'm calling the police," I repeated, but my voice shook. "And what will you say? That you entered California carrying stolen property? That you voluntarily climbed into a stranger's car?" He sighed. "Miss Carter, I am offering you protection. Accept it. The alternative is much worse." The call ended. I stared at my phone, then at the driver, who remained perfectly still. "Who was that?" I asked, though I was not sure I wanted the answer. "Marcus Valentine," the driver said. His English was almost flawless. "If you want to survive this week, do exactly what he tells you." The name meant nothing to me. But the way the driver said it made one thing clear. It should have. I clutched my camera bag to my chest, the only thing still truly mine, and fought not to cry as the car merged back into traffic. We drove for about 30 minutes, though it felt like hours. The city softened into quieter neighborhoods lined with old trees and elegant homes. Finally, we stopped in front of a limestone mansion in Hancock Park that looked like a film set for a story about old money and bad decisions. The driver opened the door. "Please." I had no real choice. I followed him, dragging the wrong suitcase behind me like evidence of my own catastrophic mistake. Inside, the mansion stunned me. Marble floors. Crystal chandeliers. Art so expensive it made the air feel untouchable. Not a house. A museum with secrets. American. The woman who stepped forward was around 60, her silver hair pulled into a severe knot. Her eyes missed nothing. Her English was flawless. I nodded. Words had abandoned me. "Come. You will wait in the guest suite. Mr. Valentine will arrive afternoon." The guest suite was larger than my entire apartment in Queens. Bedroom. Sitting room. Bathroom with a tub big enough to swim in. The wrong suitcase sat on the luggage rack, mocking me with its resemblance to my own. "Do not try to leave," the woman said from the doorway. Security is here for your protection. Protection. Prison. The difference felt purely semantic. The lock clicked from the outside. I sank onto the bed. 12 hours ago, I had boarded a plane full of hope, ready to chase the biggest dream of my life. Now I was locked in a mansion in Los Angeles with stolen journals, while dangerous men hunted me. My phone buzzed. A message from the same number. Do not be afraid. I will not harm you. But until this is resolved, you are mine. Settle in. M. I stared at the words. You are mine. How had everything gone so wrong so fast? And how could I possibly get my life back? For the first hour, I paced the guest suite like an animal in a cage. The windows would not open. The door was locked solid. My phone had no signal. They were blocking it on purpose. The magazine was probably already wondering where I was. My mother would call when I didn't check in, and I had no way to answer. A luxury trap. A velvet prison. Around noon, the silver-haired woman arrived with a tray. Croissants. Fruit. Cheese. Coffee so rich the smell alone made me dizzy. Eat, she said. Mr. Valentine dislikes hungry guests. I'm not a guest. I'm a prisoner. Perhaps. But a fed prisoner is a more sensible prisoner. She turned to leave, then stopped. He truly does not wish you harm, American girl. He is protecting you from people who would hurt you badly for what is inside that suitcase. What is inside it? What are those journals? That is not for me to say. Eat. Rest. He will come soon. The door locked again. I approached the tray. The croissants were warm and shattered at the lightest touch. The coffee was perfect. I ate mechanically, my thoughts circling the same impossible questions. There was no way out. Somewhere, my real suitcase sat with the camera equipment that had cost me 3 years of sacrifice. The thought of losing it brought tears to my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Tears would not help. I needed to think. Around 3 in the afternoon, voices sounded in the hall. Fast Italian. A key turned in the lock. Then he entered. The man stole the air from the room. He was tall, well over 6 feet, broad-shouldered, and perfectly fitted into a black shirt that made him look carved rather than dressed. Dark hair swept back from a face sharp enough to belong in a painting. High cheekbones. Strong jaw. Dark stubble. Olive skin. Full mouth. But his eyes were what held me. Dark brown, nearly black. Intelligent. Ruthless. Watching me with an intensity that felt almost physical. His sleeves were rolled to the elbows, revealing strong forearms covered in dark tattoos. More ink disappeared beneath his collar, hinting at designs that continued over his chest and back. He looked dangerous. He looked powerful. And he looked furious. Olivia Carter. My name sounded different in his mouth. He gave every syllable weight. 25. Photographer from Queens, New York. No criminal record. No history of international travel. Parents divorced when you were 8. Father deceased. Mother works as a dental hygienist in Astoria. He had dissected my life in a few hours. Who are you? I forced out. Marcus Valentine. He stepped inside and closed the door. I believe we spoke on the phone. You kidnapped me. I prevented someone else from doing it worse. There is a difference. He walked to the window and looked out over the garden. Tell me exactly what happened at the airport. Every detail. So I told him. The rush to board. The baggage carousel. The message about the car. The parking garage. He listened without interrupting. His face revealed nothing. You saw your luggage tag, he said when I finished, but you did not check the lock before leaving the airport. I was tired. I was rushing. The suitcase looked exactly like mine. Carelessness. He turned toward me. Because of that carelessness, you ended up with documents people would kill for. Several parties want what is inside that suitcase, Olivia. They will not care that you took it by mistake. Then I'll give it back. I don't want it. I only want my equipment and my job. It is already too late. The moment you left the airport with those journals, you became part of this. He took out his phone and showed me a photograph. A pale man with icy blue eyes stared back from the screen. Something about him made my skin crawl. Do you know him? No. Viktor Petrov. Russian organized crime. Information brokerage, private enforcement, and assassinations. He showed another photo. A sharp-featured woman with elegant posture and colder eyes. Isabel Monroe. Former intelligence contractor. Works for whoever pays the most. He put the phone away. Both were at Los Angeles International Airport this morning. Both were looking for those journals. How do you know? I have people everywhere. And I was looking for them myself. He slipped the phone into his pocket. 2 days ago, those journals were stolen from me. I tracked them to New York, then to your flight. What I did not predict was an innocent photographer accidentally walking away with them. So this is your fault, I snapped. Anger finally broke through the fear. If you had protected your own property better, none of this would have happened. Careful. His voice dropped so low that every hair on my body rose. I am protecting you. That does not make us friends. The journals contained information about his operations. Contacts. Accounts. Routes. Deals in 5 states and several countries. In the wrong hands, they could destroy everything he had built. What kind of operations? A thin smile. The kind where I get what I want, when I want it, by whatever means are necessary. Criminal operations. I was standing in front of a criminal. A dangerous one, judging by the tattoos, the money, and the way he spoke about death like it was weather. I want to go home, I whispered. That is impossible. Not yet. He came closer. Petrov already knows your name. He has people watching your mother in Queens. Your friends. Your apartment. If you return, he will take you and pull information out of you that you do not even have. My mother. The thought of dangerous men near her made my stomach twist. You have to protect her. Already done. My team is watching her home, her job, everywhere she goes. He stood close enough that I could smell his cologne. Expensive. Woodsy. Dark. She is safe as long as you cooperate with me. Stay here. Let me find the person who has your suitcase. Once I confirm you truly are what you claim to be, a very unlucky photographer, I will make sure you disappear safely. Disappear. New identity. New city. New life. The only way to guarantee Petrov and the others stop looking for you. Marcus studied my face. Unless you prefer to go home and wait for them to come. I sat on the bed because my legs were no longer reliable. This can't be real. I just wanted to photograph Los Angeles. Something flickered in his eyes. Pity, maybe. I know. Wrong place. Wrong time. One mistake, and everything turns. It is unfair. But fair and unfair do not matter right now. Survival does. How long? How long am I supposed to hide here? A few days. Maybe a week. He pulled out his phone. I found the woman who has your suitcase. Claire Dawson. American citizen. Graphic designer. She noticed the mistake and posted online that she was looking for the owner. Very kind of her. Hope flared. So you can get my things back. Not that simple. Claire opened your suitcase, saw the expensive gear, and took it home to her apartment in the Arts District. Petrov's men are watching her building now, waiting to see if you appear. It's a trap. Exactly. He sat in the armchair across from me, stretching out his long legs. So we proceed carefully. Tell me about the cameras. Everything in the suitcase. I described every piece of equipment. Brands. Models. Serial numbers I had memorized. He took notes, missing nothing. This matters to you, he said. It was not a question. These cameras are everything. My voice betrayed me. I saved for 3 years. I worked 3 jobs. Without that equipment, I'm just a person with a dream and no way to make it real. Marcus watched me for a long time. I will get them back. Why? Why do you care about my cameras? Because they are yours. And you are under my protection. He rose and moved toward the door. You will find clothes in the wardrobe. The bathroom has anything you need. Ask Margaret if you require something. I need a phone. I need to call my mother. I need to contact the magazine. Your mother believes you arrived safely and checked into your hotel. I had a message sent from your phone before the signal was blocked. He paused at the door. The magazine will be handled. Family circumstances forced you to delay the assignment. They will understand. You can't just take over my life. I already have. He opened the door. Rest, Olivia. You will need strength for tomorrow. What happens tomorrow? We retrieve your cameras, and you help me do it. That dangerous smile touched his mouth again. Try to sleep. He left. The lock clicked with final certainty. I sat in the silence, trying to absorb what I had just learned. Marcus Valentine. A criminal with enough power to investigate my entire life, block my phone signal, impersonate me, protect my mother across the country, and lock me inside a mansion before lunch. He spoke of disappearances and violence the way other people spoke of appointments. And whether I liked it or not, he had appointed himself my protector. The wardrobe was full of expensive clothing in exactly my size. Designer labels I had only seen in magazines. The bathroom shelves were stocked with luxury products. He had prepared for me specifically. That meant he had known I would be here before the phone call. The level of control was terrifying. I stood under a hot shower for a long time, washing airport exhaustion from my skin and trying to loosen the knots in my shoulders. But reality would not wash away. I was trapped in California, dependent on a dangerous man, my entire life suspended while he cleaned up the mess I had stumbled into. Margaret brought dinner at 7 in the evening. Coq au vin, fresh bread, and wine I was afraid to touch because I needed my head clear. The older woman set the tray by the window and, unexpectedly, sat down. Mr. Valentine asked me to tell you he is telling the truth. About what? About protecting you. He never gives empty promises. How long have you worked for him? 20 years. Since he was still a boy and had just inherited his father's business. She poured wine for both of us despite my hesitation. He can be ruthless, but he is also a man of honor. In his way. If he says you are safe here, then you are safe. What business is he really in? Margaret smiled sadly. The kind that keeps men like Petrov from reaching innocent people. The kind that exists in the shadows so the rest of the world can pretend darkness does not exist. She stood. Eat. You will need strength tomorrow. After she left, I picked at the food even though it was excellent. My thoughts kept returning to Marcus's words. You are mine. Not under my protection. Not my responsibility. Mine. As if I were another asset in his criminal empire. That should have frightened me more than it did. Instead, I felt something complicated, something I did not want to examine. Because the part of me that noticed his dark eyes, his strong hands, and the predatory grace of his movements, had responded to those words with something that was not entirely fear. I hated myself for it. That night, Los Angeles glittered beyond the window. Somewhere out there, people were living ordinary lives. Tourists were photographing the Hollywood sign. Couples were eating dinner under warm lights. Photographers like me were supposed to be capturing all of it. Instead, I was here. In New York, my mother was finishing her evening shift, going home, completely unaware that dangerous men might be watching her because of my mistake. I tried the door again. Locked, of course. Only one question kept circling in my head. Was Marcus Valentine my salvation, or just another danger wearing a more attractive face? Morning arrived in pale light through heavy curtains. I had barely slept, waking at every sound in the strange mansion. When Margaret knocked, I was already dressed in dark jeans and a black sweater from the wardrobe. It fit as if it had been made for me. Of course it did. In the sunlit dining room, Marcus sat at the head of a long table, reading something on his phone. An espresso rested beside him. He had changed into black jeans and a dark grey Henley that emphasized his tattooed forearms. Sit, he said, nodding to the chair beside him without looking up. I obeyed and instantly felt like an employee summoned for reprimand, not a guest. We leave in 30 minutes. Marcus finally set his phone down. Claire Dawson works from home on Thursdays. She will be inside her apartment. That complicates retrieval, but gives us room to maneuver. He turned the phone toward me. This is what will happen. We approach the building as a couple. You carry flowers. My arm stays around you. Anyone watching will see a man visiting a friend with his girlfriend. And Petrov's men. They are watching the front entrance. We enter through the service door behind the building, through the shared courtyard. He showed me photos and a layout. Study this. Memorize every exit. I stared at the map, still unable to fully accept that this was real. Instead of photographing the Getty Center, I was planning a covert operation with a criminal boss. We go directly to Claire. You knock. Explain the suitcase mix-up. Retrieve your equipment. Simple. And if she refuses? She won't. And if Petrov's men see us? Then I handle it. The casual way he said it chilled me. Your job is to stay calm, behave naturally, and follow my instructions. Can you do that? Do I have a choice? There is always a choice, Olivia. Some choices simply have much worse outcomes. 20 minutes later, I sat beside Marcus in the Mercedes. He had shifted personas again. A dark leather jacket over the Henley. Wealthy man bringing his girlfriend to see a friend. Complete illusion. Wear these. He handed me sunglasses and a scarf. Keep your face covered. Petrov already has your passport photo. I wrapped the scarf around my neck. The silk felt soft against my skin. Marcus produced a bouquet from somewhere and placed it in my hands. We are a couple. I will touch you. Keep you close. Do not tense. Fine. His arm slid around my shoulders and pulled me against him. The contact was electric. Warmth. Strength. The overpowering scent of his cologne. I tried to relax, but every muscle in my body screamed. Better, he murmured near my hair, but you need to truly relax. You look terrified. That is because I am terrified. Then turn fear into excitement. We are visiting a friend. You are happy. His hand tightened lightly on my shoulder. Smile. I forced a smile. It probably looked horrific. In the arts district, the driver circled twice, then slipped into an alley behind a row of brick buildings. We got out. Marcus's arm returned to my shoulders immediately. We passed through a gate into a courtyard filled with bicycles, potted plants, and old metal stairs. To anyone watching from above, we were just a couple. Marcus entered the service code without hesitation. Inside, the stairwell smelled of paint, dust, and old wood. Third floor. Apartment 3B. Marcus stood just behind me, one hand resting at my waist. From the outside, he was simply a boyfriend waiting while his girlfriend knocked. I raised my hand and knocked 3 times. Footsteps. A chain slid. The door opened. A small woman in her 30s stood there, blonde hair twisted into a messy bun, paint smudged on her clothes. Yes, she said, first in French, then switching to English when she saw me. Can I help you? Claire Dawson. I'm Olivia Carter. I think we accidentally switched suitcases at the airport. I held out the flowers like a peace offering. I have yours, and I was hoping to get mine back. Recognition crossed her face. Then her gaze shifted over my shoulder to Marcus. Something in her expression changed. Caution replaced warmth. And he is my boyfriend, I said quickly. Marcus is helping me fix the mix-up. Nice to meet you, Marcus said, his voice smooth and harmless. Then he said something in fluent French. Fast, elegant, effortless. I could not follow every word, but Claire's shoulders relaxed slightly. She switched back to English. I'm sorry. I was being careful. This morning there were strange men outside my building, watching. It frightened me, especially because of the suitcase. Strange men. I let worry enter my voice. What did they look like? Tall. Pale. Very serious. One had a scar. She dragged a finger down her cheek. Petrov's men. Marcus's hand tightened once at my waist. Hold steady. That is disturbing, I said. Maybe we should call the police. Maybe. Claire stepped back. But first, let me return your suitcase. It has been taking up half my studio. We entered. Her apartment was small and cozy, crowded with canvases, paint, sketches, and unfinished work. My red suitcase stood against the far wall. I'm sorry, Claire said, embarrassed. At first, I thought it was mine. Then I saw the cameras. Very expensive equipment. I wanted to turn it in, but I thought it might be better to return it directly to the owner. You did the right thing, I said. I moved toward my suitcase. Marcus was already checking the locks, examining the seams, making sure nothing had been tampered with. He nodded once. All clear. Then he turned to Claire. We exchange and leave. The men you saw may return. Should I be worried? Fear entered her voice. They are looking for someone else, not you. But it is better if we are gone before they arrive. The exchange happened quickly. Marcus took the other suitcase. I rolled mine behind me. He pressed a card into Claire's palm. If anyone asks about the American woman, you never saw her. Do you understand? Claire nodded, clutching the card. We left the way we came. Down the stairs. Through the courtyard. Every dark window and shadowed corner felt like an eye. Walk normally, Marcus murmured. Do not look back. The Mercedes waited in the alley. The driver opened the trunk before we reached it. Marcus loaded the luggage and helped me into the car. Drive. Different route. As we pulled away, I saw two men entering the courtyard we had just left. Tall. Pale. One with a scar down his cheek. The same men Claire had described. They are there, I whispered. I know. We beat them by 3 minutes. Marcus was already typing on his phone. My team is watching Claire's building. If they approach her, I will know. And what will you do? Make sure she says nothing about us. His tone implied methods I did not want to imagine. For 10 minutes, we rode in tense silence. Then Marcus's phone vibrated. He read the message, and his shoulders loosened slightly. They questioned her. Claire said she found the suitcase abandoned in the courtyard this morning and had no idea who left it. He put the phone away. Smart girl. You told her to lie. I gave her the safest option. She chose it. Marcus looked at me. Open your suitcase. Check everything. I unzipped it. My cameras lay in their padded cases exactly as I had packed them. Lenses. Batteries. Memory cards. Cables. Everything. Relief hit so hard I nearly felt dizzy. It's all here, I breathed. Everything is here. Marcus reached over and touched my hand. Then he picked up one of the cameras, studying it. This is the one you saved for over 3 years. How do you know that? I studied you, remember? You worked 3 jobs. Ate cheap noodles. Skipped meals to buy this equipment. His dark eyes met mine. That is devotion. Passion. I respect it. The moment became strangely intimate. His fingers brushed mine. His attention was only on me. I should have pulled away. I should have remembered who he was. But I stayed frozen. Thank you, I said softly. For getting them back. I keep my word. He removed his hand. Now the journals. The journals. For one brief moment, relief had almost made me forget them. What is so valuable about them? Information. Names. Accounts. Operations in 5 states and several countries. My business, written by the hand of someone I trusted. Who stole them? My cousin, Lucas. Marcus's face turned to stone. He thought he could sell my secrets to the highest bidder and build himself a small kingdom. What happened to him? At the moment, he is explaining where he sold the copies and where they are stored. A pause. When I finish here, I will complete that conversation. The implication struck hard. You can't. I can and I will. Lucas endangered my entire organization and every person under my protection. That requires consequences. Marcus looked directly at me. Does that frighten you? Knowing what I am capable of? Yes, I admitted. Good. Fear makes you careful. Careful keeps you alive. He leaned closer. But remember one thing. I will never harm you, Olivia. You are under my protection. To me, that is sacred. Until I stop being useful. Even then. His hand lifted toward my face, then stopped as if he thought better of it. I do not abandon people who trust me. Remember that. We returned to the mansion. The gates closed behind us with a heavy, final sound. Rest until evening, Marcus said, helping me out of the car. His hand lingered at my waist longer than necessary. Tonight, we discuss your future. My future. You cannot stay in Los Angeles. Petrov knows you are here. You cannot return to New York as if nothing happened. He searched my face. You need to disappear. I will help you do it properly. Disappear where? We will discuss it at dinner. For now, you are safe. At the door, he stopped. And Olivia. Thank you for trusting me today. I know it was not easy. He disappeared inside before I could answer. I stood in the courtyard with my recovered suitcase and 1,000 questions. Margaret escorted me back to my room. The moment I was alone, I opened my camera bag and checked every setting, every lens, every card. Everything worked perfectly. Claire had been honest. Nothing was missing. I should have felt nothing but relief. Instead, Marcus's words pressed against my chest. My old life was over. I could not go home. I could not complete the magazine assignment. I could not return to being the ordinary woman from Queens who worried about rent and deadlines. I had to disappear. The only question was whether I would disappear with Marcus Valentine's help, or disappear from him. The day stretched slowly. I scrolled through old photos on my camera. New York looked like a city from someone else's life. That version of Olivia had worried about rent, rejection emails, and freelance contracts. Not Russian mobsters, stolen journals, and criminal empires. Around 4, Margaret appeared. Mr. Valentine is delayed until late evening. Business matters. From her tone, I understood. Business matters likely meant his cousin in a warehouse somewhere. Eat without him. I will bring dinner. More waiting. More time alone with my thoughts. I spent an hour flipping through the journals from the wrong suitcase, though I could not read most of the Italian. The handwriting was neat and precise. Page after page of dates, names, numbers, and coded notes. Someone's careful bookkeeping. Someone's secrets. Something worth killing for. My phone, useless without signal, displayed messages I could not answer. 3 from Mom. How is Los Angeles? 2 from the magazine coordinator. 1 from my friend Jenna. Did you land safely? They all lived in a reality where I was simply on assignment. Dinner arrived on time, but I barely touched it. By 10, exhaustion finally dragged at my eyes. The silk pajamas Margaret had left for me felt too expensive for sleep. I dozed. Then woke to the sound of the door opening. Marcus stood in the doorway. His white shirt was stained dark. Blood? I understood it with a cold shock. Get up quietly, he said. We need to talk. I sat up, pulling the blanket to my chest. What happened? Nothing you need to worry about. He moved to the window. Lucas confirmed there are 3 copies of the journals in circulation. 1 is with us. 1 is with Petrov. 1 is with Isabel Monroe. What does that mean? It means the situation is more complicated than I expected. Marcus turned back to me. Moonlight sharpened the exhaustion on his face. I need to recover both copies before they are used against me. It will take time. How much time? A week? Maybe 2. He folded his arms. You cannot leave yet. It is not safe. So I am still a prisoner. You are still under protection. He crossed the room and sat on the edge of my bed. I know this is not what you want. But there is no other way. The intimacy of the moment struck me suddenly. He was in my room in the middle of the night, sitting on my bed with blood on his shirt. And somehow, he frightened me less than he should have. What happens to your cousin? I asked. He will live. Barely. And he will never betray me again. You hurt him. I obtained the information necessary to keep myself alive. And you? He glanced at his shirt. This bothers you. Of course it bothers me. You hurt someone. Someone who would have allowed you to die to hide his theft. Lucas knew the journals were being transported. He knew someone could take the wrong suitcase. He said nothing. He was willing to let an innocent woman be killed. His voice hardened. So yes. I hurt him. And I would do it again to keep you safe. The possessiveness in his tone stole my breath. Why do you care so much about me? I'm just a photographer who made a mistake. You are not just anything. He reached toward my face, stopped at the last second, and lowered his hand. You saved for 3 years to buy a camera. Worked 3 jobs to help your mother. Flew across the country chasing a dream despite being afraid of flying. His gaze held mine. You are strong, stubborn, and completely out of your depth. For some reason, that makes me want to protect you more than I have wanted to protect anyone in years. He stood abruptly. I know that is wrong. You are in this situation because of me. My business. My failures. I should help you disappear and never see you again. He moved toward the door. But I do not want that. And that is a problem. He was almost out when I spoke before I could stop myself. Wait. He froze with his back to me. The blood on your shirt. You should change. Wash up. You can't walk around like that. I had no idea why I said it. No idea why I cared. Slowly, he turned. Something sharp and searching moved through his eyes. You are worried about me. I'm worried Margaret will see you covered in blood and faint, I lied. A dangerous smile touched his mouth. My room is through there. He nodded toward a door hidden behind the curtains. An adjoining room. He had placed himself close enough to reach me in seconds. The level of control should have terrified me. Instead, something warm and complicated moved through my chest. Go, I said. Clean up. Then we can talk about what happens next. He studied me for another moment. Then he disappeared through the adjoining door. Water ran. He returned 10 minutes later in black sweatpants and a fresh t-shirt, his dark hair damp and pushed back. Better, he asked. Much? I patted the bed beside me and instantly regretted it when his eyebrows rose. To talk, I said quickly. Only talk. He sat, keeping distance. What do you want to discuss? My options. You said disappear. What does that actually mean? New identity. New place. New profession. I have people who specialize in this. They create histories that survive scrutiny. He showed me a document on his phone. Sarah Mitchell. Born in Portland. Graphic designer. A fake life that looked completely real. I lose everything, I whispered. My name. My career. My mother. Your mother will know you are alive. I will arrange protected contact. But publicly, yes. Olivia Carter disappears. He softened slightly. It is the only way to guarantee Petrov and the others stop searching. What if I don't want to disappear? How exactly do you intend to fight? You are a photographer, Olivia. Not a soldier. Then teach me. The words came out before I could reconsider. He stared as if I had suggested something insane. You have no idea what you are asking. Maybe not. But I know I am tired of being helpless. Tired of being protected like something fragile. I held his gaze. I handled today. I played the role. I got my cameras back. I can learn more. And if knowing more puts you in greater danger, then at least it will be my choice. Not something happening to me. Something I choose. I leaned forward. I am already involved, Marcus. I have your journals. I have seen your world. I know things that make me a target. Pretending I can just disappear and forget all of this is naive. Silence stretched between us. Conflict showed on his face. If I agree, there are rules. You do exactly what I say, when I say it. No arguments. No hesitation. Fine. And you accept what I am. What I do. There is darkness in my world that most people never see. Things that will change you. I already changed. The moment I picked up that suitcase. I held his gaze. At least give me a choice in who I become next. Something shifted in his expression. Admiration, mixed with concern. You are either very brave or very reckless. Probably both. He laughed. Unexpectedly warm. Genuine. Fine. I will teach you. We start small. Basic security. Self-defense. How to read a situation before it turns dangerous. When? Tomorrow. He stood. Tonight, you rest. At the adjoining door, he paused. And understand this. It changes everything between us. If you choose to remain in my world, even temporarily, you must accept the consequences. What consequences? You are no longer merely under my protection. You become part of my operation. That makes you valuable. And being valuable makes you a target. Another pause. It also means we will spend considerably more time together. Close contact. Dangerous situations. That creates complications. I understood exactly what he meant. The pull between us. The thing I kept trying to ignore. In proximity, it would only grow stronger. I can handle complications. We shall see. He remained in the doorway. Good night, Olivia. Training begins at 6. After he left, I lay awake in the dark. I had just volunteered to learn from a criminal. To step deeper into a world I had entered by accident. Maybe it was the stupidest decision of my life. But it was my decision. And that changed everything. At 5:45, a fist struck my door. Training clothes in the wardrobe. Downstairs in 10 minutes. Marcus's voice came through the wood. I found the clothes. Expensive. Perfect fit. Of course he had known I would agree before I said yes. The gym in the basement was state-of-the-art, with mirrored walls and equipment I had only seen in celebrity workout videos. Marcus was already there. This time, his tattoos were fully visible, complex dark designs covering both shoulders and disappearing under the neckline of his training shirt. Stretching first, he said. Flexibility is the foundation of self-defense. For 20 minutes, he guided me through stretches, correcting my form. His hands were firm, but never touched more than necessary. Then came stance. Balance. Movement. You are too tense, he said, circling me. Tension slows you. Breathe. Relaxing while he watched every movement with those intense dark eyes was nearly impossible. But I tried. Let us try something. He stepped behind me. His hands settled on my shoulders. Close your eyes. Focus on your breathing, not on me. Not focusing on him was impossible. His warmth. His presence. His scent. Everything about him filled the space. Still, I breathed. Slow. Deep. My muscles began to obey. Better, he murmured. Now I will grab you, and you will escape. Before I could answer, his arms locked around my waist from behind, pulling me against him. Solid chest. Overwhelming presence. Cologne and clean sweat. What do you do? He asked near my ear. My mind went blank. Every self-defense tip I had ever heard vanished under the physical reality of him holding me. Olivia. What do you do? I don't know, I admitted. Then I show you. He guided my hand to his forearm. Grip here. Pull down. Step forward at the same time. Use my momentum against me. We practiced slowly. Step by step. By the 20th repetition, I escaped cleanly. Good. Faster. For 2 hours, we worked. Basic escapes. Strikes. Situational awareness. Marcus was demanding but not cruel. He pushed me to my limit without breaking it. At last, I collapsed onto the mat, drenched in sweat, arms useless. That is enough for today. He tossed me a bottle of water. Same time tomorrow. You are serious about this? I am always serious about survival. He sat beside me, barely winded. You did well. Better than expected for the first day. High praise from a man who interrogated his cousin yesterday, I said before I could stop myself. His face went cold instantly. Careful, Olivia. I am teaching you because you asked. That does not give you the right to judge me. I'm sorry. That was unfair. Truth without context is just cruelty. He stood. Shower. Breakfast. At 10, you attend a meeting. What kind of meeting? The kind where you see my world as it truly is. The meeting took place in a private dining room of a restaurant so exclusive it had no sign. Marcus sent me clothing. Black tailored trousers. A silk blouse the color of dark red wine. Heels that added several inches to my height. I looked in the mirror and almost did not recognize myself. Elegant. Controlled. Dangerous, maybe. Nothing like the broke photographer from Queens. Marcus waited in the foyer, wearing a flawless charcoal suit. His dark hair was swept back, his face unreadable. Powerful businessman, if one ignored the tattoos peeking from beneath his collar, and the cold calculation in his eyes. You look appropriate, he said, giving me a brief assessing glance. Remember. You are my consultant. You observe and listen. You do not speak unless I signal. Understood. Yes. These people are dangerous, Olivia. Men have died over gestures less offensive than the wrong look. Control your body language. Your face. Give away nothing. Inside the private room, 4 men were already seated. I read them instantly. Expensive suits barely hiding violence. Eyes automatically scanning for threats. Hands that had clearly held weapons. Gentlemen, Marcus said, thank you for coming on short notice. He spoke in English, though greetings shifted between Italian and Spanish. This is Olivia, my new consultant. She is here as an observer. We Saturday. Marcus placed me beside him. The conversation began legally enough. Shipments. Distribution channels. Territories. Smooth. Nearly innocent. Then an older man with grey hair, and a scar cutting through his left eyebrow switched into Italian. And the Petrov situation. He is pressing because of the journals. Marcus answered calmly. I understood enough to know he was minimizing the threat, insisting everything was under control. A younger man with cold blue eyes said, and the girl who had them. Handled, Marcus said flatly. You are certain? Petrov has resources. I said it is handled. The steel beneath his polite tone shut the room down. Now? The Las Vegas expansion. My blood turned cold. They were talking about me without realizing I sat right there. The meeting lasted another hour. Italian, Spanish, English. Topics ranging from ordinary business to things unmistakably criminal. I sat silently and watched Marcus control the room with nothing but presence. He never raised his voice. He never threatened openly. But every man at that table obeyed him. When the meeting ended, I felt their eyes on me. Curious. Measuring. Who was the woman beside Valentine? In the car, Marcus's hand covered mine. You did well. Not a single reaction when they spoke of you. They think I'm dead. Let them. He squeezed my hand. What did you understand? That you are scarier than I thought. He almost smiled. The way they look at you, I continued. They are afraid of you. In my world, fear and respect are inseparable. One does not exist without the other. He released my hand. You understood Italian. Some. Enough to know you are expanding operations and Petrov is growing aggressive. His eyes narrowed. Your Italian is better than you admitted. What else are you hiding, Olivia Carter? My father's family was Italian. I heard the language growing up. I studied more in college. I met his gaze. I never said I did not know Italian. You never asked. That is useful. A faint smile touched his mouth. You continue to surprise me. Back at the mansion, I changed into familiar clothes and stared at the ceiling for a long time. The men at that table had calmly discussed eliminating threats, moving illegal shipments, and corrupting officials. And I had sat there, silent, learning the language of the criminal world. What was I becoming? Around 4, the door opened without a knock. Marcus stood in the doorway, his face darker than usual. We have a problem. What happened? Petrov found Claire. A pause. She is dead. The words hit like a physical blow. Claire. The graphic designer, who had done nothing wrong. Who had returned my cameras. Who had lied to protect us. Dead because of me. No, I whispered. She was innocent. She spoke to us. That was enough. Marcus crossed to the window. Cameras from her building captured us entering and leaving. Petrov reviewed the footage. He recognized you. Now he knows you are alive and with me. What happens now? Now an attack on you is an attack on me. That changes the balance. He turned. I need your help. My throat tightened. With what? It is dangerous. But it may be our best chance to end this. What exactly? Let him see you. Draw him out. When Petrov makes his move, we will be ready. You want to use me as bait. I want to use you as bait to remove the threat permanently. He crossed the room and took my shoulders. I would not ask if I did not believe you could handle it. I will be close. If anything goes wrong, I intervene immediately. And if he grabs me before that? That will not happen. His grip tightened. I will not allow it. But I need you to trust me completely. Can you? I thought of Claire. My mother in New York under watch. My old life, impossible to reclaim until this ended. Yes, I said. I trust you. Something moved through his eyes. Surprise. And something warmer. Then tomorrow night. A gallery opening in the Arts District. High profile. Heavy security. Perfect ground. You appear as my date. We let Petrov know you are there. Then we finish this. Just like that. Just like that. He released me. Rest. Tomorrow, we end what began with that suitcase. After he left, I stood at the window and watched night settle over Los Angeles. Claire had died because of this. Because of my hurry. My mistake. My failure to look closer. I could not bring her back. But I could help make sure her death meant something. I could help make Petrov pay. Even if that meant putting myself in danger. even if it meant becoming a little more like Marcus than I had ever planned. That night, I could not sleep. Around midnight, I rose and crossed through the adjoining door into Marcus's room. He was at his laptop, still working despite the hour. His gaze lifted instantly. What happened? I cannot stop thinking about Claire. About how this is my fault. No. Yes. If I had not rushed. If I had checked the suitcase properly. Petrov killed her. Not you. Marcus stood and approached me. He made that choice because he is a monster who removes anyone who gets in his way. How do you live with all of this? With the weight. Yes. By remembering why I do it. Every person I protect. Every life saved because a threat is removed. It balances the scale. His thumb brushed my cheek. If you want to balance yours, help me tomorrow. Stop Petrov before he hurts anyone else. I am scared. Good. Fear keeps you alert. Just do not let it make you hesitate when the moment comes. He pulled me closer, and I let him. I needed human contact. Something solid. Someone near. My cheek pressed against his chest. I heard his heartbeat, steady and strong. Strangely, it felt safe. He felt safe, despite everything. Stay, he said quietly. Sleep here. You do not need to be alone tonight. I knew I should refuse. But I was too tired. Too frightened. Too guilty. Too alone. I nodded. He lay beside me on top of the covers while I slipped beneath them. A thin boundary between us. In the dark, his hand found mine. Sleep, Olivia. Tomorrow we finish this. Morning came in unfamiliar light. I woke in Marcus's room with his arm around my waist. At some point during the night, he had slipped under the blanket and held me. It should have felt wrong. Instead, it felt like the safest place I had been since the entire nightmare began. You're awake, he murmured into my hair. How long have you been awake? An hour. Watching me. Making sure you were here. Making sure everything was still right. I turned toward him. His dark eyes studied me carefully. I know this is complicated, he said. Dangerous. Probably a terrible idea. His hand rose to my face, brushing hair back from my cheek. But I am tired of pretending I feel nothing for you. What are you saying? When this is over, when Petrov is neutralized, I want you to stay. Not because you have to. Because you choose to. His gaze turned more vulnerable than I had ever seen it. Choose me, Olivia. Choose this life, dark and frightening as it is. Because I think you are already choosing it. You simply have not admitted it to yourself. He was right. I had asked him to teach me. I had slept in his bed. I trusted him with my life. I had crossed every line I had drawn at the beginning. What would I become if I stayed? Mine, he said simply. My partner. My equal. Everything I have, if you want it. His thumb moved over my cheek again. A life with complications. Danger. Power. But never boredom. A life where you are protected, valued, and challenged every day. I should have asked for time. I should have gone home, cleared my head, and thought like a rational person. But in his arms, with my heart still shaped by danger and fear, the answer felt obvious. I am already yours, I whispered. I think I have been since you called me in that car, and refused to let me be afraid alone. Something sharp and possessive flashed in his eyes. Say it clearly. I need to hear it. I choose you, Marcus. I choose this life. I choose to stay. He kissed me. Deeply. Powerfully. one hand in my hair, the other pulling me against him. It felt like falling and flying at the same time. Terrifying. Impossible. Right? When we broke apart, we were both breathing hard. Mine, he asked. Yours, I said. And you are mine. It works both ways. Completely. Completely. He smiled. You think your mother will approve? Absolutely not. Then we will lie about my profession. You have a legal profession. I have several legal businesses. Import. Export. Real estate. We will emphasize those. He took my hand. Come. We go home. Home. Not the mansion where I had been locked away. A place I chose. The difference felt enormous. 3 months later, I stood in Marcus's penthouse above Los Angeles with a camera in my hands. Outside the windows, sunset painted the city gold. My equipment had been returned. The magazine assignment had long ago been completed by another photographer, but I had found a new purpose. I photographed Marcus's world through my lens. The legal side of it, at least. Business meetings. Real estate. Private events. The life he showed the public. What happened in the shadows stayed there. Although I was learning to move there too. Still taking pictures of everything. Marcus appeared behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist and pulling my back against his chest. Always. Good. Do not lose that. He kissed my neck. Your mother called. She wants to visit next month. Is it safe? I made sure. Petrov kept his end of the arrangement and disappeared. His organization believes he went underground after a failed operation. No one is looking for revenge. His arms tightened. You are safe, Olivia. Truly safe. I turned in his embrace and looped my arms around his neck. I switched suitcases at an airport and ended up here with you. Sometimes I still cannot believe it. The best mistake of your life. Or the worst. Depends on the angle. No. He kissed me gently. The best. Because it brought you to me, and I will never let you go. I thought of the frightened girl who had climbed into the wrong car, with the wrong suitcase, and a stranger's stolen journals. She felt like another person now. Naive. Smaller. The woman I had become was sharper. Stronger. Capable of things I had once thought impossible. But she was also loved fiercely. Protected absolutely. Challenged by a man who had seen her strength before she knew it was there. I love you, I said. Even though you still scare me half to death. Especially because I scare you. He laughed softly. I love you, my accidental photographer. The one mistake I never knew I needed. Beyond the glass, Los Angeles shimmered in the fading light. Beautiful. Dangerous. Full of secrets. Just like the man holding me. Just like the life I had chosen. I had switched suitcases at an airport by mistake. Marcus Valentine had told me, now you are mine. He had been right. I was his. And he was mine. And that cursed red suitcase had led me exactly where I was always meant to be.